welcome back. This video is about low light photography, and you're probably wondering why I'm standing in the middle of a field. The reason is that the place we're going to shoot is just behind camera, and it's a busy main road and there's lots of noise there. So if I'd filmed there, you wouldn't be able to hear nothing. So I've come out into this field where it's a bit quieter, a bit more out of the way. Low light photography, there's lots of different variations. There's nighttime photography where we're shooting under starlight or moonlight. The type of photography we're going to look at today is where we're trying to mix the fading daylight with the ambient light of a busy road or a town or a cityscape. So it's more like the edge of darkness, as I like to call it. It's where the in between daylight and nighttime. So we're going to be looking at the different camera settings needed to take these sorts of pictures. Now, low light photography is not difficult, but there's a few tips or rules you need to follow. The first thing is you need the camera on a tripod. I know that sounds a bit obvious, but a sturdy tripod's a must. You need to put the camera on manual focus, not autofocus. That's going to be, I would say, fairly a necessity. You need to focus up and leave that as it is. Lenses, you can use whatever lens you want within reason. I'm using a 28-70 on this camera, and probably be using the 70mm end of that for a slightly more compressed look on the image rather than a wide look. Exposure, I'm going to use manual exposure, and that's what I would advise you to use. I'm shooting camera raw. Again, you don't have to, but camera raw is much more versatile than using JPEGs. Color balance, I'm going to leave the color balance on daylight. The reason for that is as the light's fading, it's going to get much cooler, and the ambient lighting I've seen tonight is going to be very warm, and I think that's going to create a really nice contrast, color contrast to the image. Now, another thing that's handy is a cable release, because obviously we don't really want to touch the camera. I must admit, I don't always use one. Sometimes I'll set my camera on time, either a 2-second or a 10-second timer, and use that. So you can do that as well. But we need to obviously set the camera up and not move it around too much. Now, we don't want to be shooting when there's little light left in the sky. We want to start shooting perhaps earlier than we need to. As soon as you get those artificial lights come on in your street scene or wherever you're shooting, start to shoot. It may look too light, but we can always darken the image in Photoshop. But what we don't want to do is to shoot too late when there's little light left in the sky and have to try and lighten the image. If you start lightening images too much in Photoshop, you're going to get lots of noise and other artifacts appear. So best bet is shoot sooner rather than later, and just keep shooting. Alter the exposure if you want to. You can use HDR if you wish. I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to do some straight shots to begin with, but I will bridge them just in case later on I want to do a HDR or some exposure blending. Then I've got the choice. But I would advise, as I said, shoot early while there's still a fair bit of light left in the sky, and just keep shooting.